Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Bit War Podcast Live. I am your host, as always, Brett Bates. Join with me, as always, Zach Goins
How's it going, folks?
and Andrew the Wink Winkleman.
Howdy, howdy.
We got Robo Zach with us, like always.
Yep.
He's the best.
Dang
Tonight is not going to be a huge, long podcast, but we are going to get into some things. We're going to hit Wings Trivia, give you a reminder of the question, maybe another clue. I know we dropped a couple last week.
I dropped a lot of clues last week.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you guys did.
we haven't had any guesses, which is surprising with all the clues that were dropped. But we'll go over the question and how to submit your guesses again. After that, we're going to talk about the Titanfall 2 open beta, the multiplayer technical test, I guess it was called. We'll go over that, give you our thoughts. We didn't play a whole lot of it, but we did get a chance to scope it out a little bit. After that, we're going to talk about Destiny's new expansion, Rise of Iron. And then we'll give some honorable mentions at the end. So, Wink, why don't you start us off? Give us Wink's trivia question and how to submit our guesses.
Okay. What prominent PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 character model is based off a TV star? Let's see. I'm trying to think of. I think that's pretty far in depth. I went last week.
Yeah.
The channel. It's from an MTV show. That's where the show got famous, was on MTV. So, what character model? So, in other words, what the actual, like, what you look at on screen, what his character is based off of, how he looks. That's what a character model is based off of PlayStation or an MTV star, TV star. You can submit answers at Bitwar Gaming on Twitter, which is at Bitwar Gaming. You can email us at bitwargaming@outlook.com or .net.com. Okay. And yeah, pretty much that's pretty much it. Oh, and the prize, of course, is a $10 gift card to the platform of your choice.
Yep. So there's unlimited guesses, so feel free to guess as many times as you'd like. Do some research, do some digging, find out this answer. We've had a couple of close guesses, but it wasn't the exact character model and who it was based off of that we were looking for. So your answer may have been correct in general, but we're looking for a very specific answer. So
Correct.
submit your guesses, and someone will take away a $10 gift card. So
There we go.
Big prize.
yeah, and with Wink's saltiness towards PlayStation for raising their prices.
Yeah, you need that $10 now.
Right, absolutely. So, all right, Titanfall 2. The past couple weekends, they've had their multiplayer technical test or beta test, open beta, whatever. I've seen all three names dropped. Essentially, it was a couple of multiplayer maps, I think 3 modes, multiplayer modes. You could play with 3 Titans, I believe, and 5 pilots.
When I did it the other night, you could only choose from 2 Titans.
2 Titans. Okay, maybe that was right. 2 Titans and 5 pilots. But they still let you have a little bit of customization for your loadouts, which was nice. So, Zach, I think you played the most of it. So why don't you tell us first what your thoughts were about the technical test, multiplayer-wise?
All right. I think I played like maybe 2 hours of it. I didn't play much. It was it was fun, but Action Sack was up for
Robo Zach attacks again.
Halo 5 pretty much. Man, is there a way we can fix it? You think?
I have no idea.
Here, let me connect to my Ethernet really quick. So somebody else go, and I'll do this really
okay.
fast.
Wink, why don't you take over so Robo Zach can get some wired internet?
That was the best one yet. Yeah, it was. I think I got about an hour into it. There's 5 weapon classes, I believe. SMG, light machine gun, an assault rifle.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's called assault rifle though. It's maybe something else.
A light machine
Shotgun.
gun, maybe.
Yeah, something like that, and then snipers. Yeah, there was a little bit more customization from what I saw, because you get attachments, and I don't believe you had attachments on guns in the first Titanfall. There's perks again, different grenade types. The Titans were fun. I mean, Titanfall fun. The first one was enjoyable, but what the problem was is it was a really shallow game, especially when it was advertised as like the first major advertised online only game.
Yeah.
That's not a PC game, I guess you should say. But for as balanced and mechanically sound as it was really shallow. There wasn't much to unlock, and thus there wasn't that much enjoyment after the first few hours. But from the the minor beta test, it looks like they tried expanding on areas that they needed to, and I had fun. I've been spoiled with Destiny. It's just not as good of a shooter as Destiny is. Even if it's fun, I'll wait until I see a little bit more in-depth reviews of when the game finally comes out before I'd purchase. But I thought the beta test was a step in the right direction at least.
Yeah, I totally agree. Zach, why don't we try you, Robo Zach, see if he comes back?
Let's do a test.
Yeah,
Let's do a test.
I like that. That sounds a lot better.
Yeah, I'm rocking like 40 megabytes per second right now, so I should be sounding fine. Yeah, I'm doing an internet speed test. Sorry. All right, so, like I said, I played like 2 hours of it, and mostly because I don't know if you heard me, but Action Sack was like available this week to play from Halo, and so was all the community maps. Neither here nor there. Titanfall 2, I felt like was they hammered down more of the shooting mechanics. I felt like it was a lot more complete of a shooter, and like the guns were new. Like I didn't feel like I was picking up Battlefield or Call of Duty or Halo and trying to play. I feel like I was like back in Titanfall, like the first one, and trying to figure out how the guns work, what each of my abilities were, those kinds of things. And like the abilities themselves were pretty cool. Like the grappling hook was dope. I didn't like it at first, but once I understood how to use it, I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, it's going to be cool. I'm probably not going to get it right away. It'll probably be like one of those, I'll wait till a bunch of people are raving about it or it goes on sale or something and I'll pick it up. But overall, I forgot who does Titanfall, like
Respawn Entertainment.
Respawn, yeah. They did a really good job with the beta test. It was solid, besides the fact that I couldn't join my friends. But I mean, it's a beta, so I didn't expect anything big to come out of that.
Yeah, I didn't have any connectivity issues whatsoever.
Yeah. The first test, the very first time it came out, the tech test, I had a lot of connectivity issues. The second test, that's where I had the most playtime though, and that was far better. I think they really nailed down some issues they were having with connectivity in the first test, and that's why I went to the second one. Like, okay, we resolved a lot of these major issues.
Yeah,
let's get this out there again.
That's exactly what a beta's for.
Yep.
Any online game of any point from now on should have some sort of online free beta. It's pointless not to have something.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all you do is if you don't and the launch isn't smooth, you just screw yourself.
Yep. Entirely.
Really downfall to having a beta, not having an online beta free,
Yep. So my pros for the beta, the multiplayer beta, was the first Titanfall seemed to be very heavily towards Titan customization and Titan use, where this one felt a whole lot more balanced. It really took a lot more than just getting 4 or 5 kills and then dropping your Titan, having it for 30 seconds, get 4 or 5 more kills, and you drop another Titan. This one felt like you actually had to work quite a bit to get your Titan to drop. There were some abilities that shortened the time that it took to drop your Titan, but I felt like it was far more balanced between pilot battles and Titan battles, which I liked a lot.
Yeah.
Grappling hook I thought was sweet, especially because you could grab people and like rip them towards you and just shotgun blast them, one-shot them.
I didn't do that one.
Oh, man, it was sweet. As soon as I figured out you could do that, I just equipped the shotgun every chance I got and just rope people, bring them in, pa!
That was one of the clips in the original launch trailer was doing that, and that kind of intrigued me. Yeah, they're like the abilities perk window that has that grappling hook. I can't remember what the alternative was, but there's really no reason not to have a grappling hook active on every class.
Well, and here's the thing: it's only available in one pilot class. So
is it?
Yeah, it's the he's like a little robot pilot, like a AI pilot, and that's the only pilot you can choose that has a grappling hook. Thankfully, you can still customize your entire loadout, and that really doesn't have a whole lot of effect. There were some minor like health recovery, I think, or speed buffs or nerfs in that class, but for the most part, it wasn't a huge hit. and you could just use a grappling hook pilot the whole
Yeah.
time, which I thought was neat. I'm glad that they didn't have too much sway on it, but I think most people have grappling hooks. Who knows? Maybe we'll see something different, but I like that feature. I also thought a plus was them expanding on the wall running and the double jumps.
Yes,
I
agree.
I know that it feels like a Call of Duty ripoff because Black Ops 3, I think it was, or no, it was Advanced Warfare.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I don't agree with what you're about to say.
Oh, no, I'm saying it feels like ripped off of Call of Duty because Call of Duty was a lot bigger than the first Titanfall was.
Mhm,
But I like that
exactly.
they expanded on it because it really is a neat mechanic, especially because wall running, you move faster. The longer you wall run, the faster you move. At least in the tutorial, that's what it said. So I like that feature. And I like that they expanded on it, where it's not like you wall run for like 2 seconds and you're done. If you can sustain a wall run and you keep double jumping to wall run, it increases your movement speed, which I thought was fantastic.
That's okay. I agree with you now.
So
I
I
thought
know-
you were going with Call of Duty took it first, and I was like,
No.
wow.
No. And a lot of
first had.
people will think that because Call of Duty was a bigger game, bigger franchise than Titanfall
Yeah,
was.
very true.
But it did
Mhm.
originate with Titanfall. So
The first one.
The first one, yeah. So
The
I
first one
really
was
liked
fun.
that feature. It was. I enjoyed it. When we had 6 people playing, the first one was lit. It was good. When you only played by yourself, sucked. Because never had anyone that would cooperate with you. So
Yeah, it's like Overwatch.
some negatives I took away from it is it does feel a little dated because Call of Duty has so many like features that they borrowed from Titanfall. The graphics, though, I thought were phenomenal, and it was really smooth. I just don't like how much Call of Duty it looks like and feels like, but there's enough difference, I think, that will satisfy me. And I think as long as I won't pre-order it, but
Heck no.
as long as it gets an 8 or better in most reviews, I will pick it up.
Wind's
Yeah.
gonna pre-order it. He
Yeah.
told me.
Yeah.
He pre-orders
I-
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 50 on if I'll buy it. Definitely won't pre-order, but depending on score is going to be a huge.
Yeah, if it gets anything less than an 8, I'm gonna pass on it.
It'll be like one of those. Oh, it's a free games with gold. I'll get it, kind of a thing.
Well, I don't think the first one ever was a free games with gold.
No, but they discounted it significantly
I
after.
think it was like $10.
Yeah. Well, I got the deluxe edition with everything for like 15.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean,
they might
Black-
discount it heavily like that, but I don't think it'll be a free game.
When does it come out?
This.
I think it was Q1
I'll look it up.
2017. I thought October. I think it was October this year,
Okay,
2016.
maybe. Okay. Well, I guess they probably too soon to be a Black Friday deal. Then
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
maybe I'm trying to remember. They said that Titanfall should not be a holiday release. I read an article on that, so maybe it was November, December-ish. I don't know.
October 28th.
Oh, okay. So
So-
I was right. October.
Right
End of
before-
October.
Could be a Black Friday. It might be a Black Friday.
Maybe.
it might. Maybe you'll turn to $50 or something like that. But usually new games don't get much of a deal.
Right.
Yeah.
But thankfully, around Thanksgiving, it'll all have been out for a month. So maybe
And
they
we can
will.
decide.
Maybe they
yeah.
will have discounted it for Black Friday. Who knows? Going on a Black Friday tangent, right? Growing up in Monroe, like you guys did, Black Friday was semi crazy. With Toledo a little south of
Yeah.
there, it was semi crazy. I'm really scared to even think about going out in Louisville, like downtown Louisville, where there's so much more people. I'm afraid I might get trampled.
I'll
might-
be in the.
I mean, there's a
mall.
good chance.
Yeah,
I'll
Yeah,
be
but-
facilitating the
you'll be
iPhone sales.
you'll be the robot bouncer. Is that what you'll be?
Gosh dang it again.
Anyways,
Can't help it. I mean,
so it looks promising, Titanfall 2. I'm not going to bank on it yet, but from the beta test, the multiplayer only beta test, and a lot of the videos, the gameplay for the single player, it looks really promising. I'm skeptically optimistic about
Yep.
Titanfall 2.
Yeah, it looks like they at least advanced the series from the beta, from what we can tell.
Yeah.
It's not just a reskin or I think it looks like they learned from all the bad reviews it eventually got. So that's good.
So Sal in chat says, "What about Star Ocean or Final
Yep.
Fantasy 15?" Um,
Sal, get out of here. We're not talking about Final Fantasy.
I'll answer this real quick. Star Ocean, I've been a huge fan of those series.
Oops.
I don't know if I'll pick up the newest one. That one I'm on the edge on. Final Fantasy 15, I was hyped for until the live demo at E3 when that dude just looked like he had no
Sucked.
idea how to play the game, and he was getting wrecked. And that's what I was like, this game looks kind of bad.
I was listening to Kind of Funny today. They had their No Man's Sky discussion about
Lord.
its disappointment and everything like that. And then towards the end, they asked what next game will be considered the biggest disappointment, and they all predicted Final Fantasy 15, just because of how long it's been in development for, and from what they've showed so far. They made a good point that the longer things sit in development after being announced, just creates like this unrealistic expectation, and it gives buyers a chance to imagine things that aren't possible, and just kind of let their dreams kind of take, their imaginations take over, which never ends well for games. They I already said, why a game would have to announce something 3 years before it's coming out. Like, it just made no sense that you're not gonna a reveal trailer 3 years before you're gonna release isn't gonna help any form of sales. And I thought it was a really good point. And Final Fantasy 15 has been in development for, 7, 8 years more.
I have no idea, but
What
it's
was
been
it?
a long time.
It's been, man, it really has been. So, it's usually not a good sign. I mean, if a game's in that development that long, I wouldn't be. And the fact that they're changing things so dramatically, I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
Yeah,
if that game is a huge disappointment.
And Cell would know. I think 13.3 was the last, because 14 is the MMO, I believe, and I think 13.3 with Lightning, I think was the last one that came out, and that was 2012, 13.
Wasn't the last original Final Fantasy game, just like a remake? And wasn't like an.
They did 14, A Realm Reborn. But they remade that whole game because the first time they did the MMO, it flopped hard, and so I think they redid the entire thing.
Yeah, I think I could swore. I'm even thinking of another game that this game's been in development. Like, this core game itself has been in development for like 10 plus years.
And maybe, I don't know. But,
maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but yeah, that's what keeps coming to mind.
And another thing that people have to remember is when a game comes out, really it has 2-year-old technology at that point, 2 to 3-year-old technology at that point, because you can only do so much once you have the basic framework of a game, like the first year, second year. You can't change that much, especially if like a brand new graphics engine comes out. You can't just switch your game over to it, So you're really working with a 2-year-old technology, depending. So it's not like you have the brand new.
Like you think about games like that, or some even like The Last Guardian, another game that's been in development for years and years and years. I mean, I wonder what year they finally got to the point where, like, well, shit, we're so far into this development, and the PlayStation 4 is, Sony let us know that they're making a whole new console. I mean, like, well, crap, we got to scrap this whole thing and start developing for a brand new console,
Yeah.
The game's almost been rumored to cancel many times.
Yeah.
And so, stuff like that happens quite a bit. And I wonder how much money studios lose when stuff like that happens.
Yeah. And that's the thing with deadlines and game studios and why it's so high pressure. And people end up, dropping out of the game developing industry because of the high pressure, because of stuff like that. Technology advances so quick that you have to get a game out like on your deadline, or else it's just forgotten about. So many things come down the pipe that they just get forgotten about. So,
and I mean, there's a real epidemic of games getting delayed and delayed and delayed anyway.
Yeah,
and that just adds more money, more costs to the studios. That that's going to be really hard to recuperate. But you got to get it right the first time, or else you're screwed.
Yeah, unless like you always kind of say, is that unless it's an established studio really it's the first time, turn a profit or burn, turn or burn. It really is.
Oh yeah, unless you're backed by someone really well known,
Yeah,
or maybe even Sony's taking over your studio, stuff like that, to try to turn into a AAA name.
yeah,
Yeah, that's why if you're starting a game studio, you should stay in the indie scene, I guess you could call it, and try to just make $20 games. I feel like that's
yeah,
makes the most sense when it comes financially. Hard
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
big name video AAA games are expensive, and unless you're an established name, it's really hard to break in.
Well, especially now with Microsoft and Steam, allowing you to do like the green light thing, where you can have a game that is an alpha stage, people can purchase it and then help you develop it. Hey, you found a bug here. Hey, what do you think about this feature? We'll push this update. What do you guys think about it? And you get to directly influence the final game before it's released. And you already have purchased it, so you don't have to repurchase it when it does come out. So I think things like that really help the indie game industry. And
Isn't that what Rust is? That kind of alpha.
what's that?
Isn't that what Rust is on the computer on Steam? Because that's
Yes.
still technically beta.
It's an alpha early release, yeah, or
Or
beta or
And
early release.
also,
yeah.
I think DayZ is still in beta.
Yep,
Okay.
that and the Ark Survival Evolved or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That is also an early release game. So I think it's great what they're doing, because that's all that does is when a manufacturer like Microsoft, Sony, which I don't think Sony's participating in that yet, they want final games only, as the last I heard. They'll change their tune soon, I think, but I don't think they're participating in it. But Steam as well. You just produce fan loyalty when you do things like that, and studio loyalty. And that's going to go a long way, I think. And when people see that Microsoft is allowing you to basically sell a game in development and let you patch it quickly and freely develop it, developers are going to flock towards the Microsoft platform. And if Sony doesn't, that's...
Getting that kind of fan base, because usually people don't buy alpha games unless they know what to expect going into it. So you got the right fan base going into it.
Yeah.
And as long as it's not a disaster, of course. If it's just a mess, you're screwed either way. But I mean, that's smart for both ends of the spectrum there, because you build goodwill with your fans.
Yeah.
And then when the game finally does come out, or even the second version of the first DLC, that's where people start really spending their money, because they know it went so well the first time. You have that goodwill.
Yep. And speaking of developers who go up and down in that, they fluctuate in that, Bungie kind of takes off their fan base and then really does well by their fan base, and then takes them off again and then does really well for them. They're releasing their final Destiny expansion called The Rise of Iron. And Wink, since you are our resident Destiny, I don't want to say slappy, because it's really not slappy at this point. You basically have sold your life to it. We play this game constantly. And Robo-Zack agrees.
I don't think there's been ever a game that I've invested in this many hours into. Like, even the original Call of Duties, original Halos. I mean, I play those games a lot online, but I don't think that anything matches Destiny.
Yeah.
It's a sickness.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
why don't you give us your thoughts? Kind of explain to us a little bit of what they announced would be in this expansion, and what your hopes are for when it finally does drop and get released.
Yeah, it comes out September 20th, I believe.
Yes.
It is a Taken King style expansion, which means a whole new playable area, new social space, new raid, new maps, new strikes, new gear sets, more Trials of Osiris, a new PvP mode. It's pretty much a whole new Destiny game. It's $40. I think you guys just paid for it. What was it? $40? Is it 30?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's $30. So I mean, it's a half price of Destiny, but it's a lot of content,
Mhm.
and they're using a lot of the same writers from The Taken King, which I thought was the best story installment of Destiny so far. I didn't really like the raid, but other than that, I thought Taken King was great. So everything is setting up to be something like that. Hopefully, this new raid is good. They introduced private matches, which was a huge deal to a lot of people, especially Bungie fans in general, since Halo is what made private matches popular, pretty much. So you'll see. I think that helps the community mostly for like gun testing and stuff like that, and then media output. Lots of people have been chiming on or been harping for private matches for their own video channels and stuff like that. I mean, that's how Red versus Blue even got started, was because of private matches. There wasn't private matches. Red versus Blue doesn't exist. Rooster Teeth doesn't exist. So I wouldn't be surprised to see any, or a ton of videos like that and media content. The new PvP mode is called oh god, I cannot remember the name of it. But it's exactly like Kill Confirmed in Call of Duty, where you kill the person and then you gotta go pick up their orb before the points to count.
Yeah.
So that looks like that'll be a lot of fun. I bet you that will be the first Iron Banner, which is I think the week after the game comes out, the extension comes out. I already said a new raid. Everything looks very promising, other than the news of a couple weeks ago where they announced more PlayStation exclusive content, and that really pisses me off. I'm getting extremely tired of it, because not only is there exclusive guns and exclusive strikes, we have to wait a full freaking year before Xbox users can even use this and play this stuff. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't care how much money Sony is shelling out. That is such a greedy, un-Bungie-like move. It just drives me nuts, because the last installment that came out, one of the exotic weapons is a scout rifle that's a boss, and then same with a sniper rifle that is really good, and Xbox players will never see it, because they will. It'll be by the time all the stuff comes out, Destiny 2 will be out, and so no one will be even playing it anymore. I just don't get timed releases like that, especially for a year freaking window. I can understand a month, but a year is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I've always stood by my opinion of this, is that because Microsoft took Halo from Bungie and split the entire studio, they are still butthurt, for lack of a better term, over it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And I really think they do it to stick it to Microsoft and all Xbox supporters. I really do.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit, because this is a year is almost like vengeful. I mean, that's just
yeah. And that's
so
exactly
cold.
what I think it is they're trying to put a hit on Xbox fans, so to get the exclusive content, they'll switch over to Sony. Because you notice in all of their press releases and all of their gameplay demonstrations for Bungie and their streams, they're always using a PS4. 100% of the time.
It's always, I think it's been like that from the get-go.
What has?
Sony gave them a nice chunk of change for all that. Like, a lot of those exclusive things those platforms pay for that just to help sell consoles and stuff like that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that secret deep meaning for all that is because of the bad blood between them now.
Yeah. What do you think, Zach? Rise of Iron.
I pre-ordered it, so I'm right there with Wink.
All right, cool. I'm gonna wait. I will get it. It's definitely going to be purchased, but I don't think I'll pre-order it because if it turns up being a flop, I don't want.
The only reason I pre-ordered it was so I could get the Gallarhorn. That's the only reason.
Yeah, was it the Gallarhorn and what do they call the speeder?
It's like a
Galar Sparrow.
Yeah, Sparrow.
Yeah, something like that. Erica's like, "Is there any reason to pre-order it?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, you get the Gallarhorn." And she's like, "What's that?" I was like, "Come on."
You don't get the gun; you get the skin for it. You still have to do the quest.
Yeah,
which apparently isn't very hard, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So
just get it.
And so
That's
you
fine.
don't have to pre-order it to get the Gallarhorn. You just don't get the black one, and you don't get the Gallarhorn speeder.
Yeah, the Sparrow.
Yeah,
The black Gallarhorn does look pretty nasty, though. I mean, it looks sweet.
Yeah.
I-
Well, so does the
I
Sparrow.
just, for me, am I robot-y or am I fine?
You're right.
Okay. For me, the only reason I got it was because us three, that's pretty much why the podcast started, was just because we had so much fun playing Destiny and doing the raids and the strikes and stuff like that. And so like that was pretty much one of the reasons why I got it, was so that we could all play together again, and a good time with Destiny. Like, I mean, we stayed up till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning playing that stupid game.
Yeah, those raids were some. Yeah, like
Well,
that stuff like that.
That
the raids,
one raid.
the raids haven't been as good since Vault of Glass, but yeah, that was some of the most fun I had
Yeah.
gaming in general ever.
Yeah.
That was my first real taste of an MMORPG, was dealing with those raids, and the extensive exclusive loot that comes with it, and it was just man, it was eye opening, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah. Well, I don't expect this to get anything less than a 9 rating, really, or a review rating from everywhere. Maybe an 8 for the people who have it out for Destiny. But if everything that's been promised and shown makes it to the final thing, which I assume it will, because Bungie's pretty good about that, I don't expect it to be less than a 9 expansion. I know the Taken King, or well, I mean, it wasn't the Taken King. One of them only got a 7, like highest
House
score.
of Wolves.
House of Wolves.
It was House of Wolves because that was the only one without a raid.
Yeah, it sucked. So I expect this one to get a 9. But
like, for the most part, the reviews haven't been extremely glowing. Like, they've been solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the House of Wolves was probably the lowest rated one because that was like a mini expansion.
Yeah.
And that was like a money grab because they want, Destiny, like, Bungie in general, I give them a hell of a lot of credit. I don't think I've ever seen a company, especially of that size, listen to their fan base more than they have. Because a lot of the community events and the House of Wolves all spawn from community boards and community chatter, because people talked about, the raids are fun, but a horde mode would be a lot of fun too, and that's where the House of Wolves came from.
Yeah.
Now it wasn't a glowing success. House of Wolves got kind of boring, but the fact that he even did that, is promising in my mind, because that game has evolved so good since the original Destiny. Like if we were to hop into original vanilla Destiny now, I'm not sure I can handle it. Like it was so grindy,
Yeah.
compared to what it is now. It is not. I mean, I was like level 24 or 25 before I finally got my first purple anything. I was all blue. It took so long before you got your first legendary stuff, and now it's so much easier and so much more rewarding to do activities. Like they've balanced the loot system so much better. The economics, everything is so much better than what it used to be. It's really that's why I keep freaking playing that game. There's all these guns that I can get that are better for PvP stuff, and I can't stop it. Oh god! Oh, I got this hand cannon. Oh, it's got one really good stability perk, and then it's got luck in the chamber. All right, I'll hold on to this one, and I level it up. I use it for a little while. I can't stop. There's just so much to. That carrot on the end of the stick, is always in front of me with Destiny, and I'm not sure it will ever go away.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that raid, that couple weeks where we just tried to beat Vault of Glass, and we did stay up until like 1 or 2 in the morning, sometimes 3, 4. That definitely got us hooked, and
it took us, like, the 3 of us, so long to level up, because it was, and without doing the raid itself, you weren't going to get very high levels equipment, armor and stuff. So that was before matchmaking sites really were popular, and then we finally grouped together, and then the day before I moved into my apartment, the 3 of us, with a few more people, finally finished Vault of Glass, and I got the Fatebringer, which is still my favorite gun of all time in Destiny. I was so ecstatic. I'll never forget that moment when that thing dropped.
I got the Vex Mytho class that time too.
Yeah, I still don't even have that gun. I've got 600 something hours into that game, and I still don't have that.
No, you don't.
The first 2 times we finished Vault of
Wink,
Glass.
you have. Hold on a second. Keep talking.
Look it up for me.
Oh, I have it. I googled it the second you were like, "It's taken over my life." I was like, I looked at your achievements, and then I wanted to see how many days. Like, you keep talking, Brett. Right before we're done with this.
I want to hear this.
All right. You said you think you have 600 hours.
Last time I checked, I had over 400.
What was the last
and that was a long
I thought you
time.
checked.
That was a long time ago.
Brett, how many hours do you think he has?
I'm gonna say 2,500.
No,
Not that high. Not that high.
no. I haven't even been alive 2,500 hours to play that game.
Wink has played Destiny for 39.29 days. That translates to 943 hours.
Whoa.
Let's put that into perspective. We'll put that into perspective really quick. Wow. So I'm the second most out of us three. I have 417.
I didn't think you had
Brett,
that.
Brett has 382.
Yes, I have by far the least hours in this, and the first 2 times we finished Vault of Glass,
wanna
I got
talk
the
about it.
Galahorn both times.
Stop.
Oh,
900.
OG.
You're second on my list all time. Wink.
I have not. Oh my god, I have almost 1,000 hours in that game. That is.
There's a guy on my list who has 1,126.
I cannot
But literally, that's the only game he plays. Like he doesn't play anything else. He only has Destiny.
That's insane.
Oh my god, that blows my
You have
mind.
other games, dude. Play other games, bro.
I do play other games. I didn't play. I went like on a 3-month hiatus of Destiny when like Metal Gear Solid and stuff came out.
Yeah, so it would be 1,500 hours probably if that game
Yeah.
didn't exist. Thanks,
Well,
Konami.
I mean, those were perfect times for breaks for me. Like it
Yeah.
let me refresh my batteries a little bit. And yeah, I would say over half of that is just from PvP hours now. That's all I play. I don't do anything PvE at all. All I do is I play House of Osiris, Iron Banner, and then capture or control. That's pretty much it.
To put kind of this into perspective, so like Travis Gravely, one of our top Halo players, plays Halo all the time, right? He only has 706 hours into Halo.
Halo 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Halo 5 came out a year after Destiny, though, right?
Yeah.
So I got an extra year on him.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That's
that's
so
impressive or not.
I got
Impressive.
900 hours. That blows my mind.
Regardless, we all three of us expect very great things from the Bungie Destiny expansion, and that is well founded.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they seriously the way that game's evolved with its loot system, its economics, its armor is so good now. I mean, it's I don't think I could spend blah. It's a good way to say this. I don't think you could get more for your buck from than what I've gotten from Destiny, because I
Yeah,
bought
that's
an expansion and the original game, and then divide that by 900 something hours, and I mean that's a good ratio right there.
Yeah. Well, and they're selling that collector's edition or whatever it's called, the complete edition, for
Yeah, $60 will
for
come with
$60.
everything.
And it's everything.
Seriously, if you've never played Destiny,
That's the best deal you're ever gonna get.
To buy content wise. That is so much, and it comes with it's not called the Spark. I don't know what it's called, but it'll immediately jump you to level 40 or whatever character you choose.
Yeah.
So you can literally run through anything.
Mhm.
Not the most recent one. You'll need to level up in order to get a higher light level 400 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, seriously, that's so much content for $40 or $60. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Absolutely.
That's
Besides World of Warcraft, like me personally, I can't think of another game that's come out with so much DLC,
Well, that's
good DLC.
Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of though that's really the required path of any MMO that wants longevity is you
Yeah.
have to keep content refreshing going.
Yeah,
If you fail to do that, it gets stale quick and people drop.
Yeah, I've always complained about the price tag for the DLC, but especially the last two, and this last one and the one that's coming out looks like there's enough content to at least justify a price tag of $30. Because I remember I used to complain about 20. I always felt like $20 was too much. I'm like, that's a whole third of a game. It better be a third of game's worth of content.
Yeah.
God dang it, Ellie. And to make it worth it, And even for this, if you compare the Taken King story and everything like that, it would be pretty close to everything that came with the original Vanilla Destiny, because there wasn't, that was one of the complaints when it came out, was the story was kind of weak and there wasn't much to it, even though there was a lot of missions, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
For the collector's edition, it's called Destiny the Collection, you get Vanilla Destiny,
Yep.
The Dark Below, House of Wolves, Taken
Yep.
King,
Yep.
Rise of Iron, and a level 40 character boost. And you also get the Black and Silver Iron Gallahorn rocket launcher.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, seriously, if you never played Destiny or whatnot, you're gonna wanna buy the game, but find matchmaking sites and other forums to group up with people, because once you find a group that you can roll with, that just grows your experience exponentially. Because that's a game you need to have people to play with, or else you will get bored.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lot to do, and a lot of it requires more than one person. So
yeah, absolutely. So like I said, we definitely recommend Rise of Iron. This looks to be an expansion worthy of wrapping up the first game, and I'm sure there'll be little minor updates here and there as they do bug fixes and stuff.
Time events like they did for Valentine's Day and stuff like that with Crimson Duel.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And Halloween.
Like that, but this is definitely the last content update before Destiny 2, which I'm still assuming comes out next year.
Yeah.
For holiday.
Yep. So, before we close, we do have a couple of what I'm going to dub honorable mentions for today. Since today's Tuesday, August 30th, the Nuka World, is that what it's called, Zach? Fallout 4 fan. The Nuka World expansion DLC comes out today. It is live.
Yep.
Real quick, Zach, what is the biggest reason you would suggest somebody to purchase this expansion?
I think, like Destiny, Bethesda does a really, really good job of working on their DLC. And if you bought, I mean, I have the season pass. I can't think of the word. I have the season pass, so it's it's tied into that extra $60. But all of the Fallout 4 DLC has always been just amazing. Like new guns, places, robot voice. I don't know why it does that.
It's just a connection issue. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
New guns, new places, new people, new views. It's really incredible. They do a great job. They actually take a lot of they really try with the story. And so if you love Fallout 4, grab it. It's going to be awesome. I did the first mission and it was incredible. Like, it was really fun. If you're not leveled up, it's going to be really, really hard. Really hard.
Cool.
If you're above 40, it's going to be almost impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't even know how high level I got when I beat the original game, but
There are certain parts. There are a lot of booby traps, and so, like, I have the perk where, like, if I step on one, it doesn't do anything. If I didn't have that, it would have been impossible. Pretty darn close. It would have taken me a lot longer than 10 minutes to beat it.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. So Nuka World
It's
out
$20.
right now. $20.
Yep. Nuka World, $20.
What's the season pass price? 40?
I can look it up. I think it was either 40. I didn't. Well, never
I
mind.
think it was
I
30.
did get it.
Yeah, I thought it was 40, but that gets you 4 expansions, right? Or 3 expansions.
I think 3.
I think 3.
Okay, but either way,
49.
I'm out with 1.
it's $49.
Yeah, but it was 49.
Okay, but they're big expansions for Fallout.
They're huge.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
whole new area every single
they're-
time.
No, so this is the 3rd expansion, isn't it?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, because it was Nuka World, then the one before it was the Workshop.
No, it was Far Harbor. The last one was Far Harbor.
What about the
What was
Workshop
the
thing?
Austin one? Was that
See,
Far-
there's a lot to Fallout. Like Far Harbor was one, Nuka World was another. The workshop ones are like little add-ons.
Yeah, I think that.
The little add-ons that they actually.
Yeah, I don't think you
I
call
think they
that.
just put those into
expansion.
the game. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think you still have to
I'm gonna
purchase
look.
those
Keep talking.
separately. But yeah, anyways.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, I didn't think they were part. Well, I thought they were part of the season pass though. I think they weren't just like DLC that you're just handing out. You have to purchase it separately if you own the season pass. I thought.
Yeah, the Automatron,
Automatron, yeah.
um, Far Harbor, and Nuka World. So, Wasteland Workshop was $5.
Okay, so it was kind of like an
It was a
add-on, not
small.
really
It
a
was a
truly,
DLC.
not a truly
Yeah,
expansion.
it was a small DLC.
Okay.
$25 Far Harbor, and then Nuka World today.
Okay, cool. So 2 major, 2 minor, I guess we could call it, if that's
Mhm.
if that would be fair.
But I mean, like I said, Bethesda for being one of those, I think, big name developers, as I think puts like Naughty Dog and like Kojima. Bethesda really does take good care of what they do, and they care about the DLC.
Yeah, for sure. Next honorable mention. Today is the first day for the early access Battlefield 1 beta. So check your email if you signed up for it, because you might have a code that lets you get in early. Which screenshots look nasty. I'm excited to actually get my hands on it to play it.
Sure.
And as soon as we do, we'll let you know how that is.
Drops tomorrow on Xbox, so
Yep.
I'm downloading it.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
absolutely. So we will definitely let you guys know what we think about that. Third and final honorable mention before we go is what Cell in chat has been requesting the whole time, and I've been ignoring him strategically so I can talk about it. World of Warcraft Legion expansion came out today. My brother pre-ordered this back in June on our Discord server. He said that he was hoping that he'd get off work they didn't have to do any overtime, so he could go home and play it. It looks to have I still feel like it's a lot of recycled content because they're messing with time, like time travel and everything. So they're really going back over already had content, but changing. Once you go back in time never is the same, right? That's the whole time continuum theory stuff.
Oh my god.
so they're kind of like going back over the Burning Crusade stuff, but because someone went back in time to influence it and change it, it's different. But the new gear, if you haven't checked out like some of the high-end loot sets, it does look pretty sweet. The level cap increases like always against, I think they're like 100 something now for level cap. I can't even imagine what kind of DPS output people are doing now, because when I played vanilla, I think 2K DPS was like sky high. And we were doing like 20-30 before we stopped playing, which was Lich King expansion. I think we're 2 or 3 from that one. So I wouldn't be surprised if people are doing like 100K DPS, which Cell and chat will probably drop this information on us because I think he still plays.
I didn't even know he played.
I thought he played. I thought Cell played.
Cell, how do you have a job?
Well, he has a job to pay for this.
That's true.
So
That's very true.
once I hear from my brother how it is, I'll kind of give a further in-depth report. But he seemed to think that it was going to be one of the better expansions, even though it was semi-recycled material. But we'll see. It does kind of lure me sometimes because of how much. When we had, you, Zach, we had Paul, myself, my brother, Kyle Diaz. We had like a legit guild called Dunder Mifflin
We did.
in that game. And we had a lot of people. And Todd and Tim and Liz, they were all in it
Dude.
too.
We had so many.
We raided crazy in that game, Lich King. It was a good time, and some of that lures me back in. But then I remember we don't have that many people playing anymore, and I don't think people would hop back in.
That game
I don't have time.
is a game I'm scared to play, because if I had a group like you guys that got on, and did all that stuff, I'd be completely screwed. I would be way too. it would be Destiny times 10 for me, because seriously, that's Destiny is like a mini version of when it comes to
It is.
It
and
really
everything.
is.
really
Yeah,
is.
I would be so screwed because that's the kind of games I just get completely engulfed in. I would,
Yeah.
seriously.
If you have a good squad, um,
Yeah.
I
Well,
remember coming home from community college and just being like, "Yeah, mom, dad, hi."
yeah, all night, man. Because some of those
All
raids,
just grinding.
even if you were really good at the raids, some of them still take hours. Even if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
because Naxxramas in the Lich King expansion, that was if you were a good group, you rocked an hour a wing and there was 4 wings and the final boss. Maybe I guess 45 minutes per wing if you were really good. But that's still
I
that's 3
we
hours.
we played. I never bought it. We played on that. I don't know if we
Oh, Zach froze.
consider the
Voice and
free
video
server that
just
we played
froze.
on. Oh,
Oh, there he is. We got him back.
I'm not going to talk about what I was going to talk about then because it was kind of illegal, and I'll talk about it later. So I think the NSA
Yeah.
just saved me for a second.
Yeah.
I even was like, "Man, should I talk about this?" And then you guys are like, "Zach froze," and I was like, "Yep, definitely not talking about it."
Yeah, we don't want to condone any reverse engineered servers or anything like that. We played legitimately. We paid our $15 a month.
I lost a lot of college that first year I played. It was awful.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, I think that if we all agreed to play it again, I would get it. Because sometimes I do miss that keyboard mouse MMO. You cannot beat the boss mechanic, the raid mechanics that World of Warcraft has. No game comes close.
Yeah, it's
And that is the most fun part. Now, when I played Vanilla WoW and the only way you could raid was with 40 people, that is what I missed the most.
That's insane.
But it was so hard to get 40 people to be on at the same time.
yeah, that's a time commitment right there.
Yeah, and Molten Core took forever until you got geared. I mean, we're talking like 8 hours.
Yeah, see, that's just unreasonable to ask of outside of college kids or high school kids, during the summer. You can't ask of that from people anymore.
Well,
I mean, that's just
And that's why what they did was instead of doing 40 mans, they split it. So now there's 10 and 25 man raids.
yeah.
They're the same. So you can have 10 people do it, but it's not as hard. And if you want to do the really challenging, you get 25 people.
Okay.
So what people have done is most people have like 10-person guilds, maybe 20-person guilds, and then they'll pug, what they call it, out the rest. Like whoever they don't have in their guild, they'll just say, hey, if you're looking for this raid, we'll check your gear score, we'll check the gear that you have, what role you want to fill, and then we'll pick you up if need be to fill in the gaps. But now that they did the 10-man normal difficulty raids, it really has made it better because it's not hard to get 10 people. Well, I guess it's a fourth of the difficulty of getting 40 people. But typically, 10 people. Either you've met in-game or in real life that you can raid with. And that helped out a lot. And 25-man is you can get multiple guilds come together to complete it with each other. But it's harder. You get some loot ninjas, though, if you don't have all your guild. Loot ninjas, man.
Is that where they
they
get in, they take stuff, and then they just leave?
In vanilla, WoW, there was something that people implemented called was it Dragon Points or it was a DKP? They call it Dragon something points. And so essentially in a guild, every event that you attended for the guild, someone would keep track of who was in attendance, and you'd get so many points. And then what you would do is you would spend those theoretical points on gear that would drop. And so your guild leader would always do, instead of let it be need greed and need or greed roll where you just clicked I need it or agreed it. The group leader would be able to pick up all the loot and then transfer it. Like this piece of loot goes to this person, this to that person. So they had kind of an organized way. But then in the future, what they did was they entered this need or greed loot system. So if you were in a raid and the raid leader did not change it from need or greed to the master loot system where the one person could say who got what loot. You would get people who would not like it was not their class. There were different class armor because it was like warrior only armor or rogue only armor, things like that. They wouldn't have a character in the raid for that gear, but everyone would be hitting greed, and need takes precedence over greed. So they would wait until everyone had hit greed, and then they would hit need when they didn't need it, and just take it and then disconnect. They'd be out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, struggle was real. So that's why you really had to pay attention if you're the raid leader that you put it on master loot. So you get all the loot and then you divvy it out.
That's something similar with Destiny. If you do the raid leader or the group leader can kick whoever he wants. So if sometimes you're a group of the randoms and you got a prick who's the raid leader, he will intentionally kick certain people when raid ends, but the loot hasn't dropped yet.
Yeah.
And so they will, they'll spend those hours doing the raid and then they don't get anything for it.
That's stupid.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they'll change that if they haven't already.
Yeah. But that was a big thing I didn't like about World of Warcraft loot. But it was kind of rare when you got it. But it was still insta tilt when it did happen.
Heck yeah.
So, anyways, that was our last honorable mention. There was a WoW expansion coming out today. So, Wink, you got anything else before we wrap it up?
One minor one. It was more of a question for you two.
Okay.
I was listening to Kind of Funny again this morning, and they were talking about No Man's Sky, and they were wondering. They asked the question: should Hello Games come out and apologize to its fan base for what happened and what the final product was? And I thought they should, but I was just curious what you guys thought, because them or Sony haven't said a word since the game's release, and there's a lot of upset fans. So
yeah,
I'm curious what you guys think.
Zach, you want to go first?
I think they should. I mean, I was really impressed by their E3 stuff, and now it's just a big joke. Like, literally, it's a big joke. Everybody jokes about No Man's Sky, and so I think that, to live one shot.
You always know when Wink goes facepalm, you know that Robot Zach just came out.
Yeah, we need to figure out how to fix that.
Just need to get a new computer, bruh.
Oh, man.
That's not, when you give 1/100th of a game, it's not that good.
Yeah, exactly.
No. What I think that they're doing, because they haven't said a word, is they're trying to just let the storm pass, collect their money, and do their next thing. Is what I think that they're going to do.
Well, they have to be working on DLC right now, because they already announced that there's going to be paid DLC.
Well, right, and that's what I think they're doing. They're just
Who's gonna buy it?
They're trying to let the storm pass, let people forget a little bit, and then they can make these big promises for the paid DLC, what'll get people's hopes up again. I really think that's how they're playing the cards.
If they are, that's a mistake, because that's the way to alienate your fans. No one's going to buy it now. Now, Moriarty said that what they should have done was the week of release, announce everything, that had to be cut, and do, a big long blog post on why certain things had to be cut. And I think that would have earned a lot of goodwill with the people, and it would have been a lot different than completely ignoring the fact that 3/4 of this game isn't in it, from all their promises, and then not say a damn word after everyone's pissed off.
Yeah, and really what I think they ought to do is one of two things. Either one, come out and apologize and explain everything like what you just said.
Yeah.
I think at this point it's highly unlikely. I think they're trying to sweep that under the rug. But B, what I think they ought to do, if they don't do that, is to offer everyone that purchased the game up front, maybe just pre-orders, maybe everyone that has it up to a certain date, they should offer free DLC.
Yeah, I would, probably I would give a free season pass at this point. I don't think one DLC, whatever their next content.
Well, I mean, all DLC that comes from No Man's Sky would be free.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I think ought to happen. Do I think it will in reality? No.
I mean, if they did that, that's a good way to get some of the goodwill back, and then that will help if it goes well and they execute all those promises and things go well. That's a good way to get that fan base back, and then No Man's Sky 2, and then No Man, that could be a hit. That would be a big money maker. So
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. I really wanted that game to be what they originally had in the scope of it being, but it fell way short.
And that's a game that I'll always remember just because it felt so obvious to me what was going to happen. And yet that hype train just kept getting faster and faster, and the brakes were gone, man. They were gone.
Melted them things.
Yeah, it felt like such common sense, but whatever, money is money, and people make a lot of bad promises.
Yep, that's true, unfortunately. Zach, Robot Zach, you got anything before we call it a show? No?
Leeroy Jenkins.
Dude, that used to be my ringtone back when I had a flip phone and they were the thing. That was my ringtone. Leeroy Jenkins.
That's one of my first internet videos I ever watched, and I still laugh at it every time.
Yeah, it's so funny because you can tell they're trying to be serious.
We're calculating.
We have a 33.33, repeating, of course, chance of survival.
that little video will live on forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Did he just run in there? Stick to the plan, guys.
God damn it, Leeroy. Now that was that Vanilla WoW? Was that the original?
100% original WoW, yeah.
Okay, so that was supposed to be a 40-man raid right there?
No, because that was a dungeon, not a raid.
Okay.
So that was still a 5-man or 5 or 6-man. One of the.
There was, I think, it looked like there was 10 people in that group at that time.
I want to say it was just 6. I don't think that was a.
They had a lot of people. Yeah.
They did. Yeah, you're right. So maybe, I don't. I feel bad that I can't remember.
It looked like a dungeon.
Well, it was 100%. I think it was Upper Blackrock Spire, Upper or Lower Blackrock Spire is what the raid or the dungeon was, but I don't think it was a 40-man. I thought it was just a regular. Yeah, it was. It was just a regular dungeon, and it was a 5-man thing. So I don't know why they had more than 5 people if they did, but I thought it was just 5 people. That video though, because you can tell that it was planned. As soon as they run in there and everyone's just like running over top of all those dragon hatchling eggs on purpose, like they're not even trying to take them in groups. Because when you crack one of those open, there's an AoE effect and it opens up ones in the area. So they're strategically which ones you crack, so you only pull like 4 or 5 of those at a time. And you could see that everyone was just running in there and cracking open as many as they could, just to get like all this aggro and all these dudes just knock them out. So it was still funny, but
such a good video.
Yeah, it really is. So on that bombshell, as Jeremy Clarkston would say, it's time to end. So for myself, Robot Zach, and Andrew Winkleman, I am Brett Bates. Have a good week, everybody.
Peace out.
See ya.